Good day, everyone. Welcome to Ed 107 Assessment in Learning 2. At this moment, we will proceed on our next lesson in Module 4, entitled Portfolio Assessment Method. But before we proceed on the main proponent of my discussion, let me introduce myself. I am Jason T. Badillo, 21 years old. I am currently living at Barangay Dayo, Rojas City. I graduated my junior and senior high school year at Don Inocencio A. de Losario National High School with high honor. Philosophy in life. All trials and obstacles in life are not the reason to give up, but a challenge to improve ourselves and to reach our goals. Because at the end of the day, our sacrifices in coping up with life's trials will pay off with great satisfaction. Goals I want to pursue in the post-college career goals. Take the licensure examination for teacher, apply for teaching position, earn my salary, become stable, and give my family a comfortable life. We are four in the family: my father, my mother, my older sister, and me. We live simple yet happy, where we are bonded with love for each other. And now, let us proceed on our discussion about the stages in implementing portfolio assessments and the types of portfolio assessments. So our learning outcomes. At the end of this discussion, students should able to first, enumerate the stages in implementing portfolio assessments. Second, understand the importance of proper implementation of portfolio assessment. Third, explain, describe, and distinguish the types of portfolio assessments. All throughout the discussion, you will encounter this list of terms. That is why I provide definition of the terms as unlocking of difficulties. Now, let us discuss what are the stages in implementing portfolio assessment. One of the greatest attributes of the portfolio is its potential for focusing on the processes of learning. Too often, in education, we emphasize the product students create or the outcomes they achieve, but we do not give sufficient attention to the processes required to create those products or outcomes. The processes involved in self-diagnosis and self-improvement or the metacognitive processes of thinking. As a result, the products or the outcomes are not as good as we or the student would like, because they are often unsure on how to get started, how to self-diagnose or self-correct, or how to determine when a piece of work is finished. It is very essential discussing the stages in implementing the portfolio assessment, because portfolio takes a very long time and need much energy. The teacher should focus and careful in implementing and assessing it. Therefore, it will be helpful by following these stages for saving time and energy. The first stage is identifying teaching goals to assess through portfolio. The first and essential step to organize portfolio assessment is to establish the teaching goals. It is very important at this stage to be very clear about what teacher hopes to achieve in teaching. These goals will guide the selection and assessment of student work for the portfolio. So as a teacher, you should ask yourself the question, what do I want the student to learn? And select what goal you need to focus on and make sure that these goals are from general to specific. This stage is important because teachers need to know what are their goals in terms of what student will able to do. Aside from that, students need to know what they should demonstrate in their portfolio assessment. The second stage is introducing the idea of portfolio. So portfolio assessment is a new thing for many students who are used to the traditional setting. For this reason, it is important for the teacher to introduce the concept to the class. They can show an example of existing portfolio from other or example of what they have done so that the student will able to attain background on what is portfolio and what are the content of portfolio. Especially if they are teaching student on the lower level such as grade 7 which has no initial idea or background of what is portfolio, and of course we need them to know what are portfolio for, which is for the purpose of assessment. The third stage is specification of portfolio content. So specify what and how much have to be included in the portfolio, both core entries which will be assessed in the portfolio. But if there is a plenty of time, let student include some of their quality works as an option. It is important to include option as this enables self-expression and independence. So specify for each entry how it will be assessed. Remember that teacher must acquaint the students with the scoring guide or rating scales before performing the task. Since it is an authentic assessment, we can make a rubric, particularly an analytic rubric. Entries in the portfolio can take many forms, such as written, audio, video recorded items, artifacts, example, annotated drawing, a model, dialogue, or journals. The fourth stage is giving clear and detailed guidelines for portfolio presentation. There is a tendency for students to present as many evidences of learning as they can when they left on their own. The teacher must therefore set clear guidelines and detailed information on how the portfolios will be presented. Explain the need for clear and attractive presentation, dated drafts, attached reflection, or comment cards. And finally, with the rubrics clearly explained on how portfolio will be graded, because confusion will arise if the teacher does not clearly state the guidelines of portfolio assessment. That is why it is important to provide students with abundant knowledge of what are the rules and guidelines in portfolio presentation. The fifth stage is informing the key school officials, parents, and other stakeholders. Do not attempt to use the portfolio assessment method without notifying your department head, dean, or principals. This will serve as a precaution in case students will later complain about your new assessment procedure. The sixth stage is development of the portfolio. Support and encouragement are required by the teacher and the student at this stage. Devote class time to student-teacher conferences, to practicing reflection and self-assessment, to portfolio preparation. Stress the importance of reflection and self-assessment while preparing the portfolio. These are the essential questions the teacher can use to guide the student in reflection and self-assessment. First, what did I learn from this activity? Second, what is my best piece and how I can improve this? This can be done by class brainstorming or in pairs, portfolio partners, who can help each other select samples of their work and who can comment on their work. Then ensuring that the portfolio represents students' own works, accomplishments, and giving guiding feedback to them. And that are the 6 stages in implementing portfolio assessment. And now, let us proceed on the types of portfolio assessment. Portfolio falls under the non-paper and pencil test. A portfolio is a purposeful collection of student work or documented performance. Example, video of dance that tells the story of student achievement or growth. The word purposeful implies that a portfolio is not a collection of all students' work. It is not just a receptacle for all students' work. that is collected depends on the type and purpose of a portfolio you want to have. It can be a collection of products or recorded performances or photos of performances. Portfolios can be classified according to purpose. According to purpose, portfolios can be classified either as working portfolios, showcase portfolios, or assessment portfolios. The first type of portfolio is working portfolios. A working portfolio is so named because it is a project in the works, containing the work in progress as well as finished samples of work. A working portfolio demonstrates an individual's development and growth over time, meaning working portfolio reflects the activities done by the teacher and the student. It documents the stages of learning and provides a progressive record or evidence of how student has changed and growth or developed over time. Development can be focused on academic or thinking skills, content knowledge, self-knowledge, or any areas that is for your purposes. For this reason, working portfolio, it is also called development portfolio. Growth portfolio or development portfolio can serve as holding tank for your work that may be selected later for a more permanent assessment or display portfolio. It is commonly seen as more of running record of learning. The purpose is to capture the learning process. Working portfolio is an interactive teacher and student portfolio that aids communication between teacher and students, which can diagnose student needs, and teacher could also be aware of student strengths and weaknesses in achieving the learning objectives. Working portfolio contains all the activities that child is doing inside the classroom. It could be graded or draft. Whatever papers at hand every day during the entire academic year will be placed inside the portfolio. The second type of portfolio is the showcase portfolio. It is also known as best work portfolio or display portfolio, which focuses on the student's best work and most representative work. This type of portfolio is best used for summative evaluation of students' mastery of key curriculum outcomes. It only shows the best of students' outputs and products. It should include student very best work determined through a combination of student and teacher selection. Only completed work should be included. Showcase portfolios demonstrate the highest level of achievement attained by the student. In addition, the showcase portfolio should also include written analysis and reflection by the student upon the decision-making processes used to determine which work are included. Showcase portfolio documents the student's effort with respect to the curriculum objectives, which may include the evidence of student activities done outside the school, or it could be an assignment. It display or exhibit the student best work that makes them proud, which encourages for self-assessment, build self-esteem, sense of accomplishment, and contribute to the culture of the learning in the classroom. The showcase portfolio is often used to share a student's best achievements or evidence of learning. Students are generally given the choice to decide what is published. Usually, showcase portfolio is exhibits during school visits or during parents' visitation. The last and the third type of portfolio assessment is assessment or evaluation portfolios. As the name implies, the main function of an assessment portfolio is to document what a student has learned based on the standards and competencies expected of student at each grade level. The standards and competencies of the curriculum then will be determined what students select for their portfolios. The result of assessment portfolio inform both the classroom teacher and the students the extent to which the intended learning outcome has been attained. Their reflective comments will focus on the extent to which they believe that portfolio entries demonstrate their mastery of the standards and competencies. For example, if the standard or competency specify persuasive, narrative, and descriptive writing, an assessment portfolio should include the example of each type of writing. Another example to be included in the assessment portfolio are assessment activities such as quizzes, essay, and etc. The assessment portfolio is used to document what a student has learned or demonstrate that they have mastered elements of the curriculum. Here, reflective comments will focus on how artifacts align with curriculum objectives. In conclusion, portfolio assessments can provide both formative and summative opportunities for monitoring progress toward reaching identified outcomes. By setting criteria for content and outcomes, portfolios can communicate concrete information about what is expected of students in terms of the content and quality of performance in specific curriculum areas, while also providing a way of assessing their progress along the way. Depending on the content and criteria, portfolios can provide teachers and researchers with information relevant to the cognitive process that students use to achieve academic outcomes. And that's all about my report. Thank you for watching.